Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive in the left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
You shook up the world again.
I did it again. But God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Brunson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Well, that is what you call a solid bounce back series. Yeah, the Yankees beat the Cleveland Guardians to begin their homestand, and they won 2 out of 3 against Cleveland. Against Cleveland this time. Before they head out, or they don't head out, before they host the Boston Red Sox. But we're going to talk about this Yankees team against the Indians in this series, because this Yankees team is hot, and I know they lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers, and that series will forever live in my brain until they can finally, once and for all, show that they can at least hang with them. But we move for now, and this Yankees team is obviously having a really good year. I mean, for a team that started, let's see, in their first 35 games, 19-16. Okay, so barely above 500. Not good. Since then, in their last 26 games, they're 19-7. So that's a 731 win percentage. They are on fire. I know the bats haven't hit lately. That's just how the 162 works. There's going to be more variance. But their pitching remains absolutely just impeccable. It's become a top 5 staff in baseball. And their bullpen's holding it down. And they're getting healthy, right? I mean, Fernando Cruz returned. Jazz Chisholm is back. We'll touch on him in this show. Jake Cousins and Giancarlo Stanton, those 2 guys are due back very soon. So things are looking up at the moment. So I want to talk about this series. This is an audio-only episode for those watching on YouTube. It is audio only. It's on YouTube, but no video. So let's talk about it. Let's get into this series where the Yankees took 2 out of 3 to Cleveland. On Tuesday, this series began, and it began with a 3-2 victory for the Yanks. You had Rodon going up against the righty Tanner Bybee. The Yankees got 3 runs on 5 hits, 2 home runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, and sorry, I'm trying to find my notes here. I lost them. Here we go. 6 strikeouts, and they were 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Against Bybee, 3 runs in 6 1/3. He looked sharp. He did look very sharp. He struck out the side in the first inning, and I believe he was perfect through 4 innings until Aaron Judge worked a walk in the 5th. And then the no-hitter was also broken up. But the Yankees finally scored in the bottom of the 5th when DJ LeMahieu picked up an RBI base hit. DJ ends up going 1 for 3 in the game. Did have some hard hit balls. Bottom 7 with the game tied, you get the Jazz Volpe back-to-back bombs to put the Yanks on top 3-1. So Jazz goes 2 for 3 in his return. He scored his first run with speed. He made a nice play at third base from the hole. Goldie also made a nice scoop. And in his first at-bat, he picked up an opposite field base hit trying to pull the ball. But goes 2 for 3 regardless. Volpe goes 1 for 3. And that was really your offense. Carlos Rodon. Man, Carlos Rodon continues to just dominate. 7 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, a walk, 8 strikeouts, no home runs allowed again, 93 pitches, gets the win. The only run that he did allow probably should have been unearned. If it's Jazz at second and not LeMahieu, that play's probably made. But the guy is just, Rodon is just, he's just dominating. He's really good, man. And it's the same pitch mix, right? In this game, it was 39% four-seam, 27% slider, 17% changeup, 9% sinker, 8% curve. He was four-seam slider, changeup to righties, and he was four-seam slider, sinker to lefties. So, again, he mixed the curve in there. But just, like, complete dominance with his four-seam and slider. That's become his bread and butter while also mixing in the changeup. Right, the changeup, he mixed it in to change speeds, and he got a lot of whiffs on it. It's a tough pitch to hit because it looks like a fastball coming out because he's got such great arm action with it, and it just falls off a cliff. And that slider, just gets a ton of swing and miss. Got a lot of swing and miss in this game. It's one of the best sliders in baseball, and it's right. And it's been right because his fastball is also there, right? His fastball continues to be the pitch that sets everything else up, and he was able to throw the Cleveland hitters off by changing eye levels with it, going upstairs, top of the zone like he likes to do, or clipping the edges. But you saw, top of the first inning, he works out of a jam. He's got runners on the corners, 1 out. He works out of it with his fastball slider. He gets Fry to strike out swinging. He goes 95 above the zone. Then he gets Santana to strike out looking with just perfect placement on his slider middle low. Kind of set him up with the fastball low in the zone on the previous pitch to completely freeze him with that slider on the next pitch. Top of the second, he picked up 2 more strikeouts. He gets Arias to strike out swinging on a changeup going away. He sets him up with 2 consecutive fastballs before the changeup there. He gets Wilson to strike out swinging on a back foot slider. Before that pitch, he goes 4 straight off speed in the at-bat. Bunch of changeups and sliders in a row. Top 3, Big Christmas strikes out swinging. He goes 95 high and inside. He set him up with a changeup low and away to just completely throw him off. Really doing a nice job just mixing up his pitches. Top 5, Arias strikes out swinging. It's 95 top of the zone. Sets him up with a back foot slider on the previous pitch. He gets Noel to strike out swinging in the 6th. It's a changeup below the zone. He starts with 94 on the outer edge for strike 1. Follows that up with 4 straight off speed. Noel spits on a back foot curve to even the count. Then he fouls off a curveball. So Rodon's ahead 1-2. Follows that up by going changeup well below the zone. That's fouled off. And then, again, he goes changeup, that same exact spot. Gets the foul tip for strike 3. So, just been awesome with this pitch mix. And, he's doing a nice job limiting damage. Not letting 1 or 2 problems become a big thing. Just like in that first inning. You also saw that in his final inning of work, top of the 7th inning. Ramirez with a leadoff base hit, steals second base. Fry picks up an RBI single, so it's 3-2, but then he gets out of it from there. Santana flies out to Bellinger. He does allow the base hit to Arias, but he gets caught out by Grisham at second, or thrown out by Grisham at second. walks Wilson, who's a lefty, and I couldn't really blame Rodon there. He didn't want to make a mistake to the lefty. With that short porch, you make one mistake there to a guy like Wilson, who's not that good of a hitter, but it's all you got to do is hit a 310. So he walks him, but then he gets Naylor to fly out to end the inning on 2 pitches. So just finishes up another fantastic outing. Continues to be the ace for this Yankees team, or the second ace for this Yankees team. In his last 9 starts, he's got a 1.27 ERA, 70 strikeouts, 56 2/3 innings, 33 hits allowed. Which means on the season, in 13 starts, he's 8-3 with a 2.49, 98 strikeouts and 79 2/3 innings, and a 167 batting average against. Again, I think you're seeing more success this season because it's coming with a better pitch mix and better location, right? That's yielding less walks. It's yielding less hard contact, home runs. The first 2 seasons, the league caught up to him, right? Fastball slider, kind of easy to adjust to that, and especially when you're not really locating it. So he adjusted. Let me add in the changeup more, something I could throw to righties going away. Let me add in that one-seamer, right? That sinker that I can occasionally mix in. He's just become a pitcher, as cliche as that might sound. And it's not like he's completely gone away. Fastball slider's always going to be his bread and butter. But just to have a different look in your back pocket, one or two pitches you can also flash is a big deal. And again, when you're commanding everything else the way he's been commanding it this year, it's going to yield these results. So, Rodon was sharp. The bullpen, 2 innings, 1 run. Leiter gets the 8th against Cleveland's 9-3 hitters. 1 inning, no run, 1 walk, 1 hit. Devin Williams gets the 9th against Cleveland's 4-8 hitters. His first time back into this role with Luke Weaver now out with a phantom injury, I believe. 1 inning, 1 run, 2 hits, a strikeout, gets the save. But yeah, his command was off again, especially with the screwball. It wasn't the fastball command in this game. I thought the fastball command and the velo was also there. But Santana hits the double off of the screwball, and then you get Schneemann with an RBI single off the screwball and make it 3-2 Yankees. So I think, at this point, maybe the league has adjusted to him, and I think he needs something hard going into lefties. Like, he has a cutter that he doesn't really lean into. I like to see him lean into the cutter more because it's a different look, right? You got the screwball, which goes away to lefties, and you got the 4-seam fastball that you can land to both sides of the plate. Obviously, the command has been inconsistent this year with that. But if you have a cutter, you have something hard going into a lefty, even going away from a righty, it's something different that they haven't seen. It's a pitch that's going in a different direction at a different speed. So that's what I think Devin Williams should consider leaning into a little bit more. But the Yankees do pull away in the first game there on Tuesday. Wednesday, this was a horrible game to watch. They lose 4-0. You had Schmidt against the righty Ortiz. The Yankee bats scored no runs on 5 hits, 4 singles, 3 walks. They struck out 10 times, bounced into 3 double plays, and they were 0 for 3 in scoring position. Against Ortiz, no runs in 5 2/3. Listen, there are games you just got to tip your cap, and when you have to go up against somebody like Ortiz, who is, he was throwing 99 with sink in the 6th inning, and he's doing it with this crazy arm slot. And then, a couple of innings later, you got to face Emmanuel Clase, who's spamming 100 miles, 103 mile an hour cutters. Like, the guys they were throwing out there, just pure filth. So I can't really blame the Yankees in this one. A couple of guys had some nice outings. Rice was 2 for 4. So was Judge. Bellinger had a double, 1 for 4. Everybody else was 0 for. The Yankees had a lot of trouble in this game pulling the ball in the air. There were a ton of ground ball outs. Again, the 3 double plays they hit into. But, yeah, I just, sometimes you got to tip your cap. Clark Schmidt 5 2/3, 3 runs, 7 hits, a walk, a home run, 8 strikeouts, 91 pitches, gets the loss. It was a classic Clark Schmidt outing. I feel like every time this guy takes the mound, it's the same exact line that he ends up with. Like, it's never terrible. It's never outstanding. It's always just average. It's like he's always going to flirt with a quality start, give or take an out. But it's the same thing. He was struggling against lefties again, and he had trouble commanding his cutter and curveball. Top of the first inning, he puts the Yankees in a 3-0 hole early. You can't do that. I don't care how well you pitch in your final 5 innings. You can't put your team behind 3-0 right out the gate. And he did this against Cleveland last time. And I think, again, a big part of this is because Cleveland will stack lefties on a guy like Schmidt who can't retire lefties. And the lefty Kwan walks to start off the game. It's 3 straight cutters out of the zone. The lefty Martinez hits the 2-run home run. It was a cutter middle. You have Ramirez batting from the left side, hits that double on a cutter up and out. It lands right on the barrel of his bat. He gets Manzardo, the lefty, to fly out, but it was a cutter that was drilled. And then the lefty Schneemann with the RBI double on a curveball puts Cleveland up 3-0. So the numbers on the cutter in this game: 3 for 10, double home run, and a 95-mile-an-hour average exit velo. The numbers on the curveball in this game: 2 for 6, a double, 89 miles an hour exit velo. And then the numbers against Cleveland lefties in this game: 7 for 22, a 318 average, a couple of doubles, a home run, and a walk. So it's that same issue that Clark Schmidt has had issues with his entire career. Last year, in a small sample, he was much better against left-handed bats, but, for the majority of his career, this guy has had an issue retiring lefties. So the cutter in this game just wasn't working for him. The bullpen goes 3 1/3, 1 run. Hedrick gets the 6th and 7th against Cleveland's 8-2 hitters. 1 1/3 innings, no runs, a hit. Fernando Cruz returns, gets the 8th against Cleveland's 3-7 hitters. 1 inning, 1 run, 2 hits, 3 strikeouts. Some poor location. Manzardo hits the solo home run. It's 94, top of the zone. Schneemann doubles on a bad fork ball. Whatever. Tim Hill gets the 9th against Cleveland's 9-3. 1 inning, no runs on 2 hits, but one of them was a ground ball that just found a hole. Thursday, the Yankees won 4-0. That was yesterday. Fried against the righty Ciccone. The Yankee bats 4 runs, 10 hits, 8 singles, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. And they were 1 double play grounded into, and they were 4 for 9 with runners in scoring position. 2 runs on Cleveland starter in 5 innings. Bottom 4, you had the Bellinger 2-run shot in the right center gap. 2-0 Yanks. And against the Cleveland bullpen, they get 2 runs in 3 innings pitched. You had Bellinger and Jazz with back-to-back RBI singles to put the Yanks up 4-0 there against the Cleveland pen later on in the game. So Bellinger goes 2 for 4, homer, 3 RBIs. Jazz 3 for 4, RBI, stolen base. He advances to third off the stolen base. Judge goes 1 for 1, 2 intentional walks, hit by a pitch. Peraza 2 for 4, and Volpe goes 1 for 4. The Yankee pen in this game, no runs in 3 innings. Leiter was good. Got the 7th against Cleveland's 3-6 hitters. Ends up going a third of an inning, 2 hits, no runs, a strikeout. Volpe made an error while he was in there. I think the only mistake he made was that curveball to Ramirez. But other than that, he was fine. Hill goes the 7th and the 8th against Cleveland's 7-2 bats. Finishes an inning and 2/3, no runs, 1 strikeout. Loaizaga gets the 7th against Cleveland's 3-5 hitters. 1 inning, no runs, 1 strikeout. And then Max Fried goes 6 strong. And that's what I want to start with in this episode. I'm going to start by talking about Max Fried. So we'll do that when we return from break here on episode 874 of BD4. Stay with us.
Quick break here, guys. Stay connected with BD4 on social media. Follow us on Instagram and X at BD4Pod, and find us on Facebook by searching BD4. Don't miss out. Join the conversation. Want more BD4? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and never miss an episode. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and share with your fellow fans. Don't forget to ring that bell so you're always the first to know when a new video drops. Love BD4 but don't have the time to sit down and watch? Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so you never miss an episode. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a 5-star rating and a quick review. It helps us grow and keeps the conversation going.
All right. Welcome back to the show. Episode 874 of the podcast. The Yanks beat the Guardians in New York. 2 out of 3. I'm going to tip my cap to Max Fried. It was tough. I was deciding whether or not I should have gave it to Rodon or Fried. Ended up going to Fried just because he was unhittable. I mean, 1 hit in 6 innings. He goes 6 innings, no runs, 1 hit, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, no home runs allowed, 103 pitches, gets the win. It was a nice rebound, the usual. Using all of his pitches, going backdoor with the curveball. It's a slower pitch that completely throws the hitter's timing off once he goes back to that fastball, which, sits at 93, but there are times he can get it up to 97, 98 if he wants to. So a good job for Max Fried. We know who you are now, right? We know at this point we are in June. It's June, so we know you're a good pitcher. We know you're the ace of this team. I need to see him do it against the Dodgers, and he couldn't pass that test last week. Not going to lie, it's still a bad taste in my mouth. The one real test that he had. I mean, he did shut down the Padres. He did shut down the Mets a little bit, but man, I'm never going to forget about that. I need him to it bothers me. I'm not going to lie. It's like, I know you're good. I know you're good, dude. And he's going to have a good year, and he's having a good year, and it's going to stay this way, and he might even win the Cy Young, but there's not much else I could say. He was great, and he continues to dominate, everybody else, the 28 other teams. So I tip my cap to Max Fried for the 10th time this year. Leads the Yankees in that category. I want to tip my cap to Jazz Chisholm. I thought Jazz Chisholm was really sharp in his return. Comes back, gets, I think, 5 hits in this series. Let's see if I can pull up his card here. 5 hits and 11 at-bats. I'm going to try to put this to fit the screen. Here we go. Jazz Chisholm in this series goes 5 for 11, a 4.55 batting average. It's an 11.82 OPS because he had the home run in there. 2 RBIs, 3 strikeouts, which all came in the middle game. Scored 2 runs, also stole a base. He was good, man. So on the year, the numbers are getting better. He does have the OPS up to 756, so that's nice. There is some separation between the average and on base, which means he's walking. It's nice to see him walk. The slugging's good. So just start getting more hits, and that's what he did in this return here. So this is his first time that he's getting the honors, that we're tipping our cap to him. So listen, Jazz Chisholm, when he's right, brings so much to this team. I mean, you talk about the power. You talk about the speed, the base running, the defense, his arm, his glove, his range. The kid is a freak athlete. He's an athlete. He's an athlete, right? I mean, you saw on Tuesday in the 5th inning, he scores from second base easily on that LeMahieu base hit to right field. Anybody else, that's probably a bang-bang play. He scores easily, and it was not close. Yesterday, he steals second base. He jumps over, I think it was Arias, whoever it was, on the throw, jumps right over him as the ball is leaking into center field, takes third base, no problem. His athleticism is creating offense on the bases. So all they need for him to do is just get on base a little bit, you know? Now, there's the other part of that. Because I feel like I've kind of come to an epiphany because, like, people want Jazz Chisholm to have a better approach. You know, a lot of people you hear, a lot of it is the old school fans. They want him to be less pull happy, right? They don't want him swinging as hard, and they want him picking up more base hits to left field. They want him making more contact. They want him on base more so they can use his speed. I understand all that, and I'm all for that if he could do something like that. I also think if you're expecting all of that, you're kind of setting yourself up for disappointment because that's not who Jazz Chisholm is. It's not who Jazz Chisholm ever was. Jazz Chisholm is a guy who is going to pull the ball. He's a guy who's going to have a longer swing at times. He's going to whiff a lot. He's going to have good and bad streaks. He's going to have an on-base percentage that can be mediocre. He's going to have a batting average that's a little mediocre. He's going to have high K rates. But he'll also have high slug, and he'll hit a lot of home runs. So, yeah, is there something to him pressing inside Yankee Stadium with the short porch? For sure. You know, I mean, Jazz talked about it at the beginning of the season, how much he wants to hit more home runs, and you heard all the 30-30 hype between the fans and the media, and, you know, a lot of, the short porch. For a lot of lefty hitters who come in here, the short porch is very enticing. And I agree that, you know, the 180 batting average that was when he was struggling earlier in the year, that needs to be better. And you cannot have him overdoing it and pressing to that degree. And I think that's where most fans are upset with him because he swings so hard at times. So maybe there is some to it for sure. But I also think, like, if you're expecting him to be Ichiro all of a sudden, that's a little bit unrealistic. At the end of the day, when you look up, Jazz Chisholm's numbers are not going to be the prettiest for a fan who, loved the 70s baseball players. Like, he's going to strike out. He's going to hit bombs. He's also going to steal some bags when he's on base. And he won't be on base maybe as much as a lot of us want him to be. I'm trying to, a lot of the time, it's kind of like the Volpe thing, too. Like, I try to set my expectations a little lower than most fans. I feel like a lot of fans just hope. I think there needs to be an expectation level as well. There's a bit of a difference. And I think Jazz Chisholm, just knowing his archetype, that's what I'm expecting. So we tip our cap to him for the first time this year. He is a difference maker if he's right. So good for him. What am I missing? Going to the bullpen. It was between Leiter or Hill. Wanted to give it to Leiter. Ended up going to Tim Hill. So it's our third time tipping our cap to him. He's been good. Guy gets ground ball outs. Sometimes ground balls find holes. I give him a lot of shit. I think a lot of that's just because I still feel like we need another left-handed reliever in there who can miss bats to both sides of the plate. Maybe somebody with a little bit of velo. But Tim Hill's been fine. I can't really get upset at what he's done so far. I trust him to do his job, and his job is to get ground balls. So sometimes those ground balls are going to just, again, leak into the outfield. Yeah, that's really it, man. The Yanks up next obviously have the Red Sox. They start that series tonight. That's going to be fun It's the first series of the year where they're playing Boston because of this new stupid schedule. So I'm excited. I'll always be excited for Yankees Sox as much as people want to say it's died or some bullshit, whatever. I'm always going to be excited to play that scum of a city. I love making their fans miserable. So that'll be a fun series to watch. Hopefully the Yankees can sweep because that organization is a dumpster fire. that city is, but you know. So 3 against the Red Sox to wrap up this homestand. That should be fun. And folks, let's wrap this episode up with our trivia question now. And our trivia question for this episode, I'm asking you to name the 3 Yankees who have hit the most leadoff home runs in franchise history. All right, it does not have to be in order, but name the 3 Yankees who have hit the most leadoff home runs in franchise history. Again, does not have to be in order. So let me know the answer. And that's all we got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to work now because I have to leave. So I appreciate you all listening. I always do. 874 is in the books. I'll see you all soon. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.